You're live. Okay. All right. So we're on live right now. This was the stream key was not engaging, so I was like just trying to get that going. Alrighty, so I got it here. I got to full screen this. Wait for my audio to come along here on my preview. All right. These headphones are working. Good. I'm just going to set that there. And I'm going to full screen this guy here. Oh, so I can see my text that I'm getting here. I'm going to use my remote thing that I got. ZYF. It's like an air mouse, kind of like a Wii remote. No, that's not going to work right now. Okay, right click, choose full screen. There. Technical issues. So we have Jonathan McKay. How's it going? Bible WordPress. Hey, Jonathan. No, I didn't forget. I was just having some technical issues getting on the stream. So today we have, I think if I full screen this, it will look better. I think. Yeah, it looks a little bit better. There. It's running slow. I got the whole statistics here of the stream. That's really cool. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to start with, I'm going to show you guys something. My DSR 6000 satellite receiver. So this receiver will show you the in the clear DigiCipher 2 programs, but it's a really a professional end product. Well, I'm just going to go bring it over here. It is huge. So basically, this thing is like a server rack. Let me just turn off the. There. Let's hold it here. So, yeah, that's. You got all sorts of BNC and input connectors, and it makes a lot of noise. It's like huge. So this is an upcoming video project that I'm working on, but it's not. I haven't got it up and going yet. It's made by Motorola. It's huge, and it actually does DVB-S2. But it's not your typical satellite receiver. It's not like your plug-and-play Amico receiver. You have to hook it up to a network and get it all configured. It's yeah. But that's an upcoming project. If anyone has any experience with these things, maybe contact me by email. Help me out here, because it's. I worked on it for about 4 hours and then read tutorials. And if you guys ever read the forums, like sometimes the forums, you read them and you're not finding what you're looking for to get it up and going. Okay, other comments. Let's set this guy here. So, how's everyone going today? Hey, Minecraft Villager. Ohio checking in from Penn Cent Canton. Conrad Rube, how's it going? Yeah, so gotta yes. It was basically finishing lunch, and I scrambled down here to try to get this stream up and going. Conrad's in northern Kentucky. How's it going? Lots of, I think, hopefully KY is Kentucky. Lots of people I chat with from Kentucky that are doing satellite. I think probably there's like a lot of people in rural areas. I think that's a big reason why there's so much people. And I think from current events, things are seeming that more and more people are going to want to move to more rural areas, which is good for satellite. It's good to have that as a backup. I mean, if you're if you're in the country and say you're susceptible, well, everyone's susceptible for having their internet down, for having their communications down. It's good to have as a backup, unless we have like the sun sends a magnetic pulse that knocks out everything. One of those, but which could happen to the Starlink program. What happens with Starlink if the sun throws out a whole whack of radiation and knocks out all those new satellites before they even get it up and going to the general public? I hope not. But that whole Starlink program, that's going to be a game changer for people being connected out in rural areas. C-band dishes. Yeah, okay, we talk about that. Conrad grew up in central New York. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I grew up in a small town in Canada called Carleton Place. And now I live in Kingston, which is kind of a small city, but it feels like a big town to me. When you grow up in a town with no mall, no movie theater for a while, and no McDonald's. We had a Tim Hortons though. That made us feel like we're a better town. We're better than Almont. We had a Tim Hortons. Almont has a Tim Hortons now, but back when I was little, that was like a thing we had over Almont. I've Ginto Krenz. I have sent them the. I don't know. You do an email request to be a beta tester for Starlink, and I haven't heard back from them. So I don't know if I'll get to test that. I'd like to. I like to show. The big thing is I'd like to show people the antenna, because a lot of people have the idea that I've heard people like radio shows where they talk about Starlink and they say you're going to have a satellite dish like your DirecTV, and I'm like, no, 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 no. No, it won't be a fixed dish, because these are low Earth satellites flying above the Earth, moving. So you need an antenna that can track the movement of a low Earth moving satellite, not a geostationary orbit satellite. So there's a lot of people. You obviously, if you know a little bit about something and then you hear the media reporting something and they're getting it completely wrong, and you're just like, oh gosh, what else did they get wrong? Louis asks, can we still free satellite TV today like back the old days? I would say there's probably more channels now, because things are digital now. There's H.264 and H.265 MPEG compression. So in the olden days, analog days, they only fit one channel per transponder, where in modern days, there's, I don't know, 20 channels on some transponder, sometimes more. But if you're asking about, yeah, I got to give the disclaimer. First, I'll give the disclaimer. I forgot to give that. So the opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and don't represent those of this channel, except maybe mine because it's me. But over here, these are their opinions. And another thing, I gotta say this because I get this a lot, is people ask about piracy, and I don't endorse piracy. I won't talk about that much on my channel because I just don't endorse that. And it's basically, you know, if Google's your friend, you can Google that. Don't come to me if you want to do something illegal. It's basically what I'm saying. Los Angeles is 99 degrees. Lughead 6, new guy here from the mountains in New York. Cool. Hey, they're not too far from here. I'm just north of New York State in Ontario. Minecraft Villager, how is the new dish? Which new dish? I've had my dishes for a couple years now, so I don't know which one's the newer one. Bible, WordPress, Tim Horton cup video, running over the cup. That was an old one from back in the day. I remember I had a site. I called it nothingtodo.tv. It's no longer up. Well, it was robbiestrike.com was my website way back in like 2002, and I used to put little comedy skit videos up there. And this was before YouTube, so like if a video actually went viral on that, it would like cost extra money for bandwidth to keep the video up on the internet. So I'll answer questions here for the next half hour, or next 10 minutes here, and I think we're gonna have a guest calling in today. We may have Eric from Farpoint Farms calling in and telling us how things are going with his C-band satellite dish setup. If I know we've had enough technical issues today, and I know he's got things going on in his farm. So, but I think we did have an appointment there. Jonathan McKay asks, can I show my cords? I think I do have a video. I'll have to post it here, and I'll post it in one of the comments, and I'll pin it. I have a video where I showed how I wired the cables in my house, because I have some underground pipes, you know, like electric cable pipes running down in the ground and running out toward inside the house. And then I just used some caulking to seal my house from any pest getting in through the cables. And I have like it's like this big wad of cables going into my house. Like there's a couple RG6s. There's the power cords to run 2 actuators and things like that. Mark Sandquist says piracy is a thing of the past. Now everything is PowerView and DigiCipher. Yeah, there's like back in the day, I think that's what pushed satellite back in the day. People would, with the analog days, they would do a chipping system. There's a video on YouTube, like an old newscast video that talks about that. It's kind of interesting to look back at. I was trying to get that for the rights to that, to doing a documentary about piracy, but they never got back to me. Black Beauty lived a good life. Yeah, Black Beauty. Unfortunately, I had to scrap Black Beauty, and I had it posted on Kijiji for the longest time, free satellite dish, and no one took it. No one wanted it. It was too ugly. Even when I first saw it, I got it off Kijiji. And I went to the yard and I'm like, ugh. And then also it was a solid dish. I was hoping for a mesh dish. The thing about a mesh dish, it comes apart in like pie shaped pieces, and I could throw it in the back of my little car. But and then I was like, I don't think I can take this because I can't fit that in my car. And the guy was like, you can cut it up and put it up. No, I'm not going to cut it up and then try to get it. Did I miss any comments here? Yeah. Have I tried the ABC feeds on 91 KU band? There used to be like four. Bible WordPress can tell you about that. There was ABC. There used to even be like an ABC news channel, ABC Now, but it's I don't know if it's still on cable or just nobody watched it. So many news channels now, like on satellite and well on cable and everything. There's I don't know how I've lost count. And back in the early '80s, when Ted Turner first started doing his news company, people thought he was crazy. Who would want a 24-hour news channel? People thought that this Ted Turner guy is crazy. Now there's more news channels than back in the early '80s that there was actual networks. Patrick Arby, how's it going? Yeah, you'll be watching, catch the repeat of the live stream. And another thing I noticed with these live streams, my first live stream, it took like a day before it got back up on YouTube. So I was all concerned, oh, should I have recorded it? Because I wasn't recording. I didn't want to crash my little laptop computer here, my little Acer running Linux Mint here that I'm using to stream this thing. And I have this big tower next to me, but I bought a webcam and it's worse than the little pinhole webcam that I'm using on this laptop. Minecrafter asks if you got an old TV antenna and the amplifier, the booster, is done. I'm not sure. I think with the cost of an antenna, I would consider buying a new one. Like if I were to buy a new antenna right now, Tyler the Antenna Man does lots of channels and lots of videos on antennas. And the one that he reviewed recently that really impressed me was the Televis antenna that actually works without having the amplifier plugged in, which I thought that was a great feature because like, what if you're out, you have it on a camper or something like that? That would be great to have, or you just have like you set it up for people that are going to be the type of people that will unplug the amplifier, and then they'll be wondering why their TV doesn't work. So I'm considering maybe looking into one of those antennas if they want to send me one. So that's one I'm looking at right now, and maybe I'd recommend that, but I'm not sure. Definitely buy one of those. Spend the extra money for like a DigiWave, one of those good brand name antennas, and as opposed to buying some cheap ping ding ding antenna. I've especially here in Canada, if it's got lots of plastic, I've seen even the big badly built 10-foot Yagis fall apart. I don't know what brand it was. It might have even been one of the big good brands, but it fell apart because if you get ice storm weather, ice on you get ice on those elements of the antenna, the ice will break them right off during an ice storm. So that's why I like my little round antenna that I have. the UFO antenna that the flying saucer that I have on my roof. It's a small antenna, and when I bought it, I lived in an apartment, so it worked great on the on a balcony. Now I just put it up here in the house, and I thought, well, I don't know if with the plastic if it's going to last forever. So I'm part of my experiment is to see how many more years I can get out of it. And when I do need to change it, I'll probably get like a bigger directional antenna with a router and all that, which I covered in my last video, which was the analog versus digital video, and just with hooking an SDR, one of these things here, one of these SDR radios up to my TV antenna, you can look up the frequencies for the ATSC broadcast and take a look at the spectrum, see if there's any interference that might be blocking your channels. Also, what I did in the whole experiment with one of these and my HD home run to make sure I got better TV signal with my over-the-air antenna is I was disconnecting splitters because I'm splitting to about 4 different TVs. So I disconnected some splitters. Some were working fine a while ago, and then they were just not working as well anymore. So I removed some splitters. I was doing some crazy sending stuff into the antenna and then sending it up to TVs with the RF modulators and the ATSC modulators. So I kind of went on a ramble there. I'm gonna look at some of these comments before we get a call here. Jonathan McKay says, replace the booster. The only problem is some of these antennas, the booster, the amplifier is built right into the antenna. I don't know. Somebody needs to do a video, I guess, of replacing an antenna or an amplifier in one of those older antennas. Well, NW Guy 2, he's going to disappear off my screen here. What do I think about 5G going into the spectrum? It's kind of like what's happening with ATSC when we're going to go to ATSC 3 and the repack. Things are digital now, so there's going to be less spectrum for C-band, but they're going to be probably using the good transponder frequencies, and they're going to fit more channels on one transponder. Like, as I say, you can get everything's going to be moving toward H.265 eventually, 4K content. So it does we do lose some of the satellite spectrum, but I don't. From what I see, is there's a lot of spectrum that's not being used. Like a lot of the C-band spectrum, there's some C-band satellites, and they only have a few active transponders, and they could have a lot more transponders. I don't know if they're using it for telecommunication links or whatever. It's kind of a myth that people think that most of the internet is over satellite. Most of the internet connectivity is wires that are here on the Earth, like through fiber optic cables and whatnot. There is some communication that happens with satellite, but I wouldn't say that everything is run through there. ATS 3.0 is kind of unfair to the 1.0 box tuners. Yeah, that's what is annoying about ATSC 3 is, see, in my area, it's not going to get up. In Canada and in many areas in the States, not everyone's going to switch to ATSC 3, so you're going to have an ATSC 1 tuner, and you're going to have to have an ATSC 2 tuner set up. So it's going to be more tuners connected to your computer, your TV, or whatever. This computer here that I have, I'm going to answer that. This computer here that I have is has an ATSC tuner in it. Hey, Eric? Oh, hey, here, I'll put you on speaker. So we got Eric calling in from Farpoint Farms. I was saying Farpoint Farms my last episode, but Farpoint Farms, was that right?
That's correct, man. How you doing today?
I am doing excellent. I'm going to turn your volume up here. So Eric has a YouTube channel. Basically, if you do a YouTube search for CB Radio, you'll find Eric in one of his CB Radio videos on YouTube here.
Yeah. For some reason, I think I might have been the first guy on YouTube to talk about CB radios. Thankfully, other folks are now talking about it. But yeah, for a while there, I was single-handedly trying to bring back CB radio.
Well, it's good to it's good to know. It's good to have. It's good to have for a backup for communication. Even though I don't know anyone in my area who uses CB radios anymore, but it's and another thing too is those FRS portable radios. I really like those radios. When I go out camping, I give my nephew and niece, my kids, those, and they just have a blast with those little tiny, those Walmart FRS radios.
Yeah, I picked up something new. I've got a Midland that's like a crank-up portable radio. It's an AM/FM radio. It's got weather channels built into it, and it's got like a side crank, or you can recharge it, off of regular power from your house. But it's also an FRS GMRS radio, so it's like perfect for camping. You could have that thing, sit that on the picnic table, and then when everybody's out doing their stuff with the little handheld walkie-talkies, it's perfect for communicating back and forth. So I picked one of those up actually last week. I haven't really had a chance to play with it, but I was thinking the same thing. Like when I go camping, we always take just a little teeny, the ones you can fit in your pocket, those little FRS radios. And this thing's a little bigger, but it's perfect for just kind of sitting around, and you can listen to regular radio with it, or then you can switch it over and use it as a kind of a mobile base station.
Yeah, that's for sure. So you were into C-band satellite back in the analog days, and then you got out of it for a while, and now you're back into satellite. You set up a KU band system, and now you have your C-band dish set up next to your solar panels. And so tell us about how that. First tell us a bit about your background with C-band back in the good old days.
Sure, yeah. So when I was a kid growing up, I had a friend who actually had a C-band dish, and this would have been mid-'80s. So that is like right before they even started to scramble stuff. This would have been the real Wild West days of C-band. And, go to his house and get to see that. We had nothing but regular over-the-air antenna, which back in those days was 3 channels where I lived. So to go from that to go to his house and see everything, HBO and all the wild feeds and all the cable-esque channels that were up there, I was just fascinated by it, and it kind of stuck with me. And so when I got out on my own, by this point, like the small KU band dishes, DirecTV and Dish Network and Prime Star was they had come out, so people were already starting to move away from those big dishes. But the second I got my first place, I put out an ad, and I think it was literally in a newspaper. I mean, this is before the internet really was a thing. So I put an ad out saying I was looking for one, and I had an elderly couple who had moved from that. They actually had trees grow up, so they weren't able to get most of the arc anyway. But they had gotten a small dish, and I went over there and picked up. It was a 7.5-footer and a Drake 1724, which at the time was a really good analog receiver. And I can't remember exactly what I paid, but I don't think it was more than maybe $100 or $150. So we cut that down, set it up at our house, and the passion for CB or for satellite radio and all that stuff was just there. It had gone to where some of the channels were paid channels, but it was still the peak of it. They hadn't come out with digital stuff yet, so KU band was full of what would be news trucks, like people waiting for their 15 seconds on the air. They would just have those feeds going all night long. And then C-band was mostly commercial broadcasts and backhauls, which were like the stuff they would sell to all the UHF stations. So for me, I was a huge wrestling and a huge Star Trek fan, and you could catch the replays, and it would be commercial free. I mean, they would just have blank spots where it would say insert commercial here.
Yeah.
And so that and the VCR, that was the original time shifting, you could do that stuff.
Yeah, well, now you can watch Heroes and Icons. You can see all sorts of Star Trek and watch it on, I don't know if it's still on MeTV, the old Star Trek. And wrestling, WWE's on 55 West and 125 West on Monday nights and Wednesday nights. And I just watch SmackDown. I just watch it with my antenna on Fox, but I'm pretty sure, from what I understand, you can get it over on 55 West on Friday nights live.
Awesome. I haven't even checked that yet. I haven't checked 55. I did pick up, what was the other one, 125?
125 West, yeah.
Yeah, I think I picked up 1 feet, so it must have been on that. But, yeah, so that era, like, even then, like, so I had friends at work, and they'd shake their head and be like, "My gosh, why are you putting up this huge antenna in your yard?" And of course, it's like it's an addiction, and I blame you for getting me back hooked on this mess because one dish becomes two rather rapidly. And I put, as the years went on, I put out an ad for another dish because I was looking for a 10-foot dish. Because 4D TV, which was like the DC2 digital signals, came, and eventually I upgraded to a 905 sidecar, and then the last couple of years I actually had the top of the line. It was a 922, and that thing was, it had a guide, it was everything all rolled into one. You could get analog signals, digital signals, dish mover, and guide all built into one, and it was a sweet setup. I mean, it really was. And so I ended up getting a 10-foot dish for it, so I could get all the C-band stuff and probably about 80% of the KU band signals that were out there at the time. And man, there was just so much stuff that was up there, my friend. It was crazy. And then I think it was 2013. That's pretty much when the NPS, which was the place you bought your packages from, they went out of business, and that was kind of the end of being able to buy the channels that were scrambled, because you could buy, like, let's say you wanted History Channel and DIY Network, and those were the only two channels you wanted. It was like $1.99 for 3 months, and that's it. That's all you had to pay. So you can imagine cable companies and DirecTV were really wanting to smash that into the ground because they wanted to charge $100 for the same stuff,
So I guess, yeah, now we kind of have that with streaming services. Like, you can get an a la carte payment system through that. I mean, here at home, I went with subscription free for the longest time, but with this pandemic that we've had, I've kind of caved in. I got Netflix again, and I got Disney Plus for a while. We don't have Disney Plus anymore now that the kids are in school, but we still are hanging on to Netflix. Just my daughter loves the Barbie show, so we've got to keep that.
I can totally understand. We did the same thing when I moved from that house. I was like, and I'm not very tech savvy, but I was a very early adopter of Roku boxes, because when the satellite stuff went away, except for free to air stuff, we didn't want to get cable, and I didn't really want to do a small dish because I didn't really feel like those packages just weren't worth it to me. So the Roku was something that had just come out, and we had a Netflix subscription, and back then it was you'd get a DVD, or I think it was 2 DVDs a month, and they were trying to push this crazy new idea that they were going to stream over the internet. And so we got the box and upgraded to high-speed internet, because at that point I still had dial-up, and that was when I gave up on everything but Netflix. And when we moved up here, I got rid of Netflix as well. I was like you. I just kind of did over the air, and I did on the Roku box. There's a lot of channels that are free, and so there's a lot of like older stuff that's out there. So I did some of that too. But yeah, I got back into it after finding this random guy in Canada's channel who was talking all about satellites all the time. It made me remember how it was, and so now I'm back to having a KU band dish and a C band dish and all that good stuff.
It's good to hear. I mean, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I guess pull up your page here. There we go. So there's our YouTube channel here on for Farpoint Farms. If you guys want to check it out sometime. It's done. So you're on your fourth video about satellite that you've uploaded so far.
I've got good to do one more, and that'll probably wrap up the series unless they have like a specific request. But yeah, I went through the process of setting it up. I started off just the KU, and I was going to one particular satellite, and I did that. And I was like, wow, this is great. But I just got the bug. So then I went out and got a Horizon mount, so I made another video on that. And then I just how easy it is to scam. I got to tell you, Robbie, just compared to 2013 to now, you can't imagine how much easier it is to find those signals and to lock in satellites. And that USDL or US, whatever it is, Universal Satellite Locating, that is new tech. And compared to when I dropped out of this game for a while, wow. It's so much easier. It's still frustrating to find the first satellite, but what you do is to lock in the grid and just be able to go across the arc. So I've really enjoyed it. And like I said, I went and got a C-band dish, so I've got that on the ground, and we've got that running, and I am waiting satellite dispositioner for it because I was trying to use an analog dispositioner, but it actually died on me, and I decided to go ahead and buy a real, modern one that works in with the FTA receiver. So I'm just waiting on that to come from overseas because there was none available here stateside, at least at the time I looked, and I'll be ready to really play.
That's good, yeah. Oh, there's so much on C-band. Like I always tell people about KU band and what's there, but then if they are able to have access to the C-band channels, that's just something that's pretty. You get so much more. Like I found on C-band, you get all the diginets on 101 West, or not all the diginets, but you get a whole whack of the diginets on 101 West, like all the classic TV stuff, like in classic movies. That I don't get those channels in my area, so I get a few over-the-air diginets, but I don't get them all. So that's where having a C-band dish is really, really cool because it gets me all those channels that I am not getting in my area. In some ways, it's actually I'm getting better picture quality. The Me TV feed on 101 West is better picture quality than the feed that I do get over the air.
That's also how it is here. I don't get Me TV. I get it on the satellite now, but I used to get it here, but it was really highly compressed. And then when they did the repack, they dropped that channel here locally. And I love to watch Sven Gulli, who plays like old horror movies on Saturday nights. And so I was really happy to see that on the list of channels that are free to air. But I like the other thing I just want to point out is that it is so much less expensive to get into this hobby now as it was.
Oh yeah.
even in 2010. Those FTA receivers. Now, granted, I mean there's some of the 4K ones that are really high quality and really nice, but I was able to pick up an off-branded one off of I think it was eBay, and I don't think I paid $30 or $40 for it. And when I tried to get an MPEG 2 box back, when the stuff was going offline, boy, those things were $300 or $400 back then. So that's a huge.
Yeah, it's really changed in the price.
Buying everything was really cheap comparatively.
Oh yeah, like even a high definition receiver, your DMCO box, it'll have all the bells and whistles that an expensive box will have. It'll have you can connect a hard drive up to it and you make it into a PVR. You can. Gets HD and probably will decode H.265 or H.264, at least H.264. There's only a few channels that are H.265 anyway that are out there at this time.
I was going to ask you, are those H.265? Do you find are those channels more on KU band or C band? Because I'm thinking about buying a second receiver, so one will be set up permanently for C band and one will be for KU. And I wanted to know which one to plug into which satellite. You say there's more of that 265 on C or KU?
Both have not really switched to H.265 yet, but I can see in the future. And even with H.265, they'll be doing even the standard definition stuff. Will probably move to that just because it means they can fit more channels per transponder. So it's not. It's not overly prevalent right now, but it will be within the next few years, and also with a 4K receiver. Well, if you do buy a 4K receiver, then it will have H.265 capabilities anyway. That's the NASA channel, which is on 127 West. That has the NASA 4K channel, and that's H.265.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, there's been so many neat stuff. I don't know any other language other than English, but I tell you, I really enjoyed watching the programming on KU-band. There's Galaxy 19 just has so much stuff going on there, and somebody was asking me, is there any Japanese channels, and I was like, yeah, I watched sumo wrestling at like 6 o'clock in the morning the other day, and they're like, oh man, sold, they want to get it just because of that. And I said, whatever your taste, there's always something to play around with and find on there that you're like, wow, I'll definitely sit here and watch this for a little while.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's NHK over on, was it 103 West, I believe?
That's where I was watching sumo wrestling.
Yeah. I wish they had some of the All Japan and New Japan wrestling on there, but I think they're on some other network. It used to be on FX. I used to see it on FX, or what's the channel that's... I think it was FX, which is the old HD net, which had... It had New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I think it might be encrypted now, or it's no longer on that transponder. It's that's one of the things that happens with C-band and with free-to-air satellite. You might get a channel, you might start enjoying it, then it might go away after a while. They might switch to a different transponder, or they might just be streaming.
Oh yeah, and that's kind of how it was back in the day when stuff was analog. It might be in the clear 1 month, and then they would scramble it another month. There was also, and this is something I don't think that any of them do anymore, but they would have, like Showtime and HBO and channels like that, they would have weekends where they would open it up for free on purpose, and they would kind of advertise it saying, hey, check it out, we're going to be free to air for this weekend. And that was to draw in customers, and yes. I kind of like that because you kind of,
they still kind of do that to an extent
for it, so it was neat to do that.
Yeah, they kind of still do that to an extent where you'll see a newer channel, and to build its audience, it will be in the clear. Velocity, I don't know if Velocity is still in the clear, but for a couple of years, that was like Discovery Channel, all that stuff. That was one of their branded channels, and they had it in the clear on KU-band for quite a while.
Okay, cool.
Anyway,
I'm enjoying it. Like you said, too, the thing where you can plug a hard drive into these new receivers, or even a USB stick. Back then, to record something that was a backhaul meant programming your VCR to turn on at a certain time and making sure that you set your satellite to the right position before you went to bed or went to work or whatever. And now it's all it's automated timer, and it goes to the dish and records right to the USB drive. So I haven't played with it too much, but I did record Svengoolie last week on MeTV, and it worked. So it was pretty cool.
That's good to hear. Just gonna switch my camera here. Go to the stream here. Go to your site there. There we go. Well, thanks for calling in, Eric. I'm gonna wrap this up soon because I'm gonna just. I've had a few hectic things happen here around the house today, but I'm hoping to do some more live streams. And maybe. Are you doing another live stream anytime soon, Eric?
Probably be another week or two before I have a chance with the school year starting. I've been kind of busy and certainly wrapping up the season here on as well. But I want to say thanks for inviting me to be on. I also want to say thanks for rekindling my interest in this hobby. It's a fun hobby. It's cheap in the scheme of things. There's a lot of things that guys spend money on the net. There's a lot of it to be found for the family. So I appreciate it, my friend.
All right. Well, thanks very much for calling, and we'll have to talk again sometime.
All right, take care.
All right, thank you. Thanks for calling.
So that's Eric
from Farpoint Farms. His YouTube channel. I believe he also has. He's everywhere. You can find him on Facebook and on BitChute and places like that. I got a visitor here in the studio, so I'm back to the camera. So let's take a look at some of these comments here. CB Radio. Twice the Are we getting reverb in the audio, or just I always like CB radio. Here, with OBS, you make a mistake. You got the echo. The cool CB radio operators would have like echo mics where they sounded like they were broadcasting from the moon. Just looking at some of these comments here in the chat room. My audio is echoing. No echo. I do have my headphones over here. I'm just gonna put the audio down here on my other computer. A Sirius on 97. Mark says a Sirius on 97 West has some American movies. All right, here's what this is like when you're doing a live stream from home. Your kids can wander into the room, and that's my. Here, let's cut to this guy here. Showing my. Thank you for all 35 of you tuned in today. With camera. No. Oh yeah. Webcam chat. Doing all this on the fly here, audio, video, and production and taking calls. Well, with an air mouse. There, we're back. So when you use an air mouse, I'll be doing a video about this air mouse. I couldn't find my other mouse. The thing I like about it is it has a touchpad on it, and you can wave it across the screen. But for doing video production, it's probably not what it's best for. It's more for if you're going to sit at your couch and use your I'm losing my train of thought here. This is why I like to edit videos instead of doing live. What was I saying? I was talking about this. Yeah, so if you're sitting at your couch and you're kind of using your computer, you've hooked a computer up to your TV, these things are great just for that. Okay, I'll go back to the chat room here. Did I just get a flicker on that? That's... Just could have full screen this screen here so I can read the comments. Right click, go to display 2. There we go. So is it still echoing, guys? I'm not even wearing my headphones here, so I'd have to... I'm not hearing an echo here on my end. Make sure you don't have two windows open. Maybe it's just where my headphones were. This microphone here was picking up this. The Super Chat Bible WordPress, I don't know. I never gave me an option for that. I'm probably because I'm not a big enough channel to get Super Chat donations. Celsius says, FTA satellite sounds interesting. I'll probably get into it once I have my own place, aiming for January, March 2021. Cool. Yeah, so this episode here, this live stream, I was going to make it about an hour this week. I'm looking to do this. I'm looking to do more live streams. I enjoy doing it. It's less work than doing all the editing that I have to do for like 1 10-minute video. Now I used to be able to get a video done in a day, but with no school for the kids, it's I spend a few hours and then the next day I work a few more hours on a video. I really like the days when I had a day to work on a video. And it would be quiet. But now it's September. I think there's going to be more stuff. I'll be able to do a lot more now that it's September. Thank God for September. Dallas says, I've acquired an ExplorerNet satellite, newest obsolete ones. This is start for anything FTA. I had a ExplorerNet dish, but the focal point was off, and I was not really interested in trying to figure out the focal point and setting that up. If someone can, please post pictures of it, even on our Facebook group that we have. We have a Facebook group called, so the mouthful one. What was? I don't even know the name of my own Facebook group. I gotta give it a catchy title. Free Satellite TV for North America Channels is my group. You'll see my smiling. Well, I'm holding a Shaw Direct dish. Come and join us there. I ask you to do a few things before you come in. Well, I'm pretty free, libertarian-minded with stuff. Just don't talk about piracy stuff. I will have to delete that because of legal reasons. And I hate doing that, but it's some people don't know, and I don't mean to do it because I'm mad because some people don't know, But for free, in the clear, legit discussion, come here to this free Satellite TV North America group here on Facebook. I have 2 pages on Facebook. I have my personal video page, Robbie Strike Videos, and I also have Free Satellite TV, which is at freesatellitetv.net. And my shop. I want to just bring that up here. So you can go to my shop over at Free Satellite TV, which is just this Facebook page here. Now, it doesn't work in Firefox. I found it does work in Chrome and other browsers, but for whatever reason, I've been getting this error message every time I log into my webpage for the store. But I've seen it on my phone. It works. And all this is just affiliate links. I'm not actually selling anything, but if you're looking for me to point you in the right direction of which product you might be looking for a satellite use, this will help you. And by doing this, it just helps me a little bit with commissions. I make say you buy something for $100, I make $1 off of it or something like that. No extra cost to you. It's just sending traffic to eBay or Amazon. And Amazon, I have links for Amazon or eBay. And if you're going to buy something from Amazon or eBay, not even satellite related, if you want to help me out, you can go to this page, go to one of those links, and then at the top of the page, just click on the Amico receiver here. And if you already have an Amico receiver, just click on that, go to eBay and buy something. It'll give me a commission on something else that you buy, so that's kind of cool. If you already have an Amico receiver, so yeah, it takes you to eBay, and then it just puts a cookie in your browser, and if you anything that you buy, you type in C-band dish, you'll find it there on eBay. Now, what's going on these days, I got to point out too, is there's I never worked with one of these dishes here that have I don't know if you can see it in there's 2 white. That's not a pole mount. These I don't know what they call those things. Anyway, I wanted a pole mount, which you typically see with a C-band dish, and then a lot of these dishes are not pole mount. They seem to be fixed. So I'm not sure exactly how they work. I know what a pole mount works. So another thing with eBay and Amazon that I've noticed recently is there's a large supply and demand issues. Like Tech 2000, who's helped me out a lot and has sponsored this channel through products, has had a real supply shortage as of recently. So it's there's anyway, I'm looking at different things here. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Jonathan McKay. Hey, I liked some of your channels there. Keep working on your videos, Jonathan. Subscribe to his channel. He's done some tutorial stuff, and I encourage Jonathan to... McKee, sorry. Reading this thing here. This is not the best monitor in the world. IPTV is illegal. Not all IPTV is illegal. There is services that are here today, gone tomorrow, because they got shut down by Charlie Elgin or something like that. Not Charlie, but by the Dish Network Corporation. Have a good day, Brandon. And we're gone into 2 o'clock already. I got a clock here, and I got a little clock here. So I'm going to wrap this up. I'll just look at some of your questions here. If I didn't answer one, just copy and paste it here in the comments section. Somebody asked Minecraft asks if analog still exists. Why don't we have TVs with antennas? We still have TVs with antennas. Try hooking an antenna up to your TV. You might find some really good stuff there. Even a pair of rabbit ears. I don't have a big antenna around here, but even a coat hanger, a piece of wire into a coax. If you have some coax cable like this, and then put it on something metal, you might even be able to get like 1 or 2 signals. But get a real antenna, and an outdoor antenna is the best. Jonathan McKee says no, because the transponders are not circular like the Bell ones. So yeah, there's 2 different dishes. I've done a video on that. Why you can't get free to air with a Dish Network dish, because that's more the commonly known one, because a lot of them are circular, and then people don't understand that you need a little bit bigger of a dish and a little bit in a linear KU band LMB. And dishes are not that expensive. Like for for even a starter package, which I've done a video on, a KU band dish is about $100. Like everything's $100. The receiver's $100, the motor's $100, and the dish is $100, and maybe $100 for your cable, a big good roll of cable if you need like 100 meters or whatever that would be. Because this is IPTV. This is like people are still talking about IPTV not being illegal. What illegal? YouTube's illegal. Like people can. That is technically an internet protocol television. But what people are talking about is how to get like the channels, which are pay channels, which have commercials, and Discovery Channel, which takes like half an hour to tell you something that reading a paragraph on Wikipedia you can learn the same amount of time, or the same amount in a lot less amount of time. Dallas says, okay, I was hoping it could be yours other than a bird bath. Yeah, I'm not sure what and you're asking about the ExploreNet dish. I don't know a lot about those ExploreNet dishes. I know they're KA band, so it's a different LMB. Yeah, go to my page, Free Satellite TV, and there'll be some information there on a KU band dish, which is a good starter dish to get into. Just look around to see what's on KU band. Just happen to stumble in here. That's the thing about live stream is people tend to stumble into live streams. You might not have seen my channel. Please subscribe. Check some of these videos. I do talk a lot about technology, like free satellite TV, computers on Linux, shortwave radio stuff, all sorts of technology, radio technology, neato stuff. Celsius, my online classes all prevent us from accessing the access that are running Linux OS and force us to use Windows. I don't know how to get around it. and how to buy a cheap HP with Windows 7. It sucks. You would think that most school now would have like everything's cloud based, so it would work with Linux. Like I even have doctor's appointments where they're using like their own proprietary video conferencing software that I've never heard about, but it works in Chrome. So you can use Chrome and Linux Mint and pretty much do anything. Watch Netflix, do whatever. I think you can watch Netflix in Firefox now. It's just this one bug in Facebook, and Facebook's not fixing my store. They're being jerks trying to not let me make any money off my store. I don't know. Okay. All right, so I guess I got all your comments there. So, guys, thank you so much for coming in and watching today. I'm going to close this thing off here. I'm going to wrap this guy up here, or when 8 minutes over. I appreciate Eric for calling in and having him as a guest on this show. I want to get better with the live streaming. Someone's going to say, get a switcher or mixer. I did have one, and I don't know where it is. I'm just trying to do what I can with what I got. I do have a Patreon if you want to donate money so I can buy a mixer, but I'm probably just going to do it this way for now. I need to find like an application where I can just video conference, like do a Zoom call or something with people. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this guy up, this show up here, and thank you so much for coming in today and watching. So please check out my YouTube channel, Robbie Strike, and check out all the technology videos and reviews that I